Hey everyone, Ross McCorkle here with another episode of the Depot 180. Since Daniel Archibong retired, the Steelers have had a vacant roster spot against their 90-man off-season roster. Last time they had an opening for this long, they ended up filling it with Larry Ogunjobi, a high-profile player who will have an impact in 2022. The team ended up bringing in a handful of USFL players for tryouts per ESPN's Field Yates on Twitter. The USFL is one of the alternate football leagues that have sprung up the last few years, in case you hadn't heard. All 5 of the players brought in were defensive linemen, mostly interior, but a couple guys with some versatility as well. This is also somewhat relevant because Chris Watts was just hired to the Steelers scouting staff. He was the acting general manager for the Pittsburgh Maulers up until that point. It makes sense that he would have been consulted on this given his ties to the USFL, and it netted the Steelers a new player in Doug Costin. Costin most recently played defensive tackle for the Birmingham Stallions in the USFL and was part of the championship team there. He went undrafted in 2020 out of the Miami of Ohio and actually deflected a pass against Ben Roethlisberger as a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2020. He started 9 games that season for that awful Jaguars team, and he also spent some time with the Cincinnati Bengals as well. Costin was most recently listed at 6'2", 295 pounds. That is a bit light for a defensive tackle in the Steelers system, and he isn't quite long enough, so he won't have much versatility along the line. Costin will have some stiff competition to be interior line depth on this team with Montravius Adams, Henry Mondo, and Khalil and Carlos Davis, among others, and another interesting, if maybe a little unheralded, training camp matchup to watch starting in just a week. It's old news at this point with the stadium name officially being changed to Acrisure Stadium, but that didn't make it any easier to see images of the Heinz ketchup bottles being taken down via a crane. It remains to be seen if Heinz Craft will remain in any capacity at the stadium, but we know for sure it is being significantly lessened. But all that is non-consequential, especially if you ask the Steelers players themselves. Cameron Hayward responded to a disgruntled fan on Twitter and said it won't make a difference. It's the same physical stadium, the same fans, the same bleachers, etc. And while I now have to double check every time I type Acrisure to see if it's field or stadium, Hayward is right. It doesn't really matter. If anything, the extra money will further develop the stadium and help usher in the next chapter in Pittsburgh sports. Let me know how you enjoyed the video on Twitter at Ross_McCorkle, and as always, visit SteelersDepot.com for your latest and greatest Steelers breaking news and analysis.